Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the compilation of the oaths and vows and swearing in the Hanbali school. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Salatu Salam ala Rasul Kareem, Rabbana taqabbal minna, Sayyidina ilma wa Rasulullah, an yuwaffiqna lima yuhibbu wa yarda. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad, abduka wa rasulika, nabiyil ummi, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam taslima. أعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا اللهم آتنا نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها وليها ومولاها اللهم شيخنا أما بعد. All the praises belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah belongs the heavens and the earth and everything in between and everything above. Everything belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And may the peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet who transferred things verbally. That's why they say Nabi al-Ummi, and on his companions and the Tabi'een and all the people that follow goodness to the Day of Judgment. And that's the example that we follow, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we're going today on the next section in the book of the Umdah by Imam Ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi. And he has the next section, a compilation, Jamia al-Ayman, the compilation of oaths and vows. Because what happens is people, they say things, and what they say, it's not necessarily what they mean by it. So when a person, they say something, then you gotta look at what does it mean by what it says. What's the cost? What's the reason behind it? What's the intention behind the statement? And that's really what counts. What the person they intend by it, not necessarily the literal wording of what the person they say. And sometimes, if you ever done the computer programming, if you do the computer programming, it does everything. You miss a dot somewhere, then it does something different. It does exactly what you tell it to do. Okay, Chola. So that's how they say.
Related to what you're saying about the Imam?
Because the thing is, what this is the Sheikh. He talked about things where people are judges, and they go into court, and people, they have to do oaths all the time. They have to swear all the time. They have to say particular things in the court. Because normally speaking, what happens is the plaintiff, he comes, and the defendant is there, so they might be at conflict. The plaintiff might say something, and the defendant would deny it. So what happens is the judge, the normal procedure is the plaintiff, he has to bring proof of what he's saying it, and the defendant, when he denies it, it takes an oath. He swears by it. So that's a very common, that's the Islamic ruling when you look at the book of judgments. In the court system, you have people that take oaths and they swear by things and they say things, and sometimes the wording that they say, it's a little bit tricky. The things that they say, what they mean by it, and what is meant by it, and is it true or not. So we talked about that last time in the other lesson. And the example I give is like somebody goes to the court, and the person says, I loaned this person $5,000, and he goes to the court. I loaned this person $5,000. He didn't pay me back, so I want him to pay me back the $5,000. So the judge says to the defendant, did he loan you $5,000? He didn't give me anything, he said. Then he goes back and he says, what's your proof? He'll say, what's the proof to the plaintiff? And the defendant said, do you take an oath and swear? And the defendant said, yeah, I swear. He didn't give me $5,000. Okay, so you see what the problem is here?
Well, the problem, the person has no proof that he's given a loan.
No, that's the thing.
So he's saying the defendant is tainting
the defendant is saying that he didn't give me $5,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see a problem over here?
Oh, because he's saying give me. He should have
Right,
said
yes,
loan me.
exactly, yes, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
He said he didn't give me $5,000, he didn't give it to him as a gift.
Yes.
But he loaned him $5,000.
Right, so the judge might take that, technically it's correct.
Right, so that's one of the issues that the Sheikh mentioned, that what happens is the things that people they say, you have to look at what they mean by it, not the literal wording from it. And so that's the example that he gave last time. And he says if that's the case where you have the plaintiff and the defendant, you have to go by what the plaintiff means by it, not by the literal wording. So that's a reason that comes up.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't realize that's what we're
That's the
talking
thing.
about.
And also sometimes people they say things and they say it to discourage other people from doing things. So they have a reason behind it why they say it. So it's not the literal wording that you go by, it's by the reason behind what they say.
Yeah, it's what's actually intended, the
Right,
intended
yes,
meaning.
yes, that's one of the things. And the same thing with a person they vow, it's what he intends by the vow, not necessarily what's the literal wording of the vow. And then you have also the things that are the norm in the society, people that use particular terms for something, but it refers to something, not exactly like exact words of the term.
Oh, okay.
No, so there's all those issues that are there. So that's what the Sheikh, that's why he has this section here.
Okay.
Talks about the different things that people they say, and what it really means, what counts for it or not.
Okay. So ويرجع فيها so جامع الأيمان, the compilation of oaths.
Mm-hmm.
ويرجع فيها إلى النية
Yes.
فيما يحتمله اللفظ.
Yes.
It goes back to the intention when one carried out the oath.
Yes, so if a person they vow to do something, or they make an oath to do something, it's what a person they intend by it. You know, like the person they say, I'm gonna fast, right? So what does that mean? That he's gonna, it goes, what he intended by fasting, he's gonna fast one day, or he's gonna fast a week, he's gonna fast a month, he's gonna fast, no, that's where it goes. So what the person they intend by it, that's what it goes back on the oath. When a person they swear or they make a vow or oath something, what a person, the qasd, the niyyah that they have behind it, not necessarily the exact wording. You know?
Okay.
So he says, okay, let's go to number 2.
Like for example, a person says he's gonna donate, a camel for the
Yes.
sake of Allah, but accidentally he says 100 camels. Okay, khair, we're
Right.
gonna bring him down to having
Yep.
to donate so many camels. No, is what he intended. Yes.
Yeah, I think he mentioned like an example like that.
Okay.
There.
But
Let's
is
just
that-
mention some of these examples, and there's
Yeah,
more of them too besides
yeah.
what he mentions.
فإذا حلف
Mhm.
لا يكلم رجلا لا يكلم رجلا يريد واحدا بعينه
Yes,
بعينه
yes,
اختصت
yes,
يمينه به.
yes,
So if one swears not to talk to a man, he meaning to one specifically, then the swearing is specific to him.
yes. So a person says, I'm not going to talk to him, or I'm not going to talk, for example, even I'm not going to talk. He says that, but what he means is he's not going to talk to a specific person, then that's what the oath refers to. Like a person they're on the phone, and they start saying, and then they say, I want to chat with you. Things I say, I swear I'm not going to talk. Right? Does that mean specifically to that person?
Oh,
So that's what it
okay.
refers to.
Okay, yeah.
No,
So
he
it's like,
says
I'm not going to talk. Khalas, you can't
Yes.
talk. Period. That's
Yes,
not the
he
case.
said, I'm not going to talk to a man. That's what he means. So it means specifically to that
Yeah.
one person, because that's what he meant by it. Specific to him. So that's like one example.
Okay.
But think about it in English. How would you say that in English? Yeah, maybe say I'm not gonna talk. If you say that, and then
Yeah.
you're referring to a specific person. That's what that means.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're not
So
gonna
for
ever
example,
speak again.
someone says, "Hey, tell me what happened," and then the person says, "I swear I'm never going to talk."
Right. Yes. Exactly. That's a good
Okay,
example.
well,
Yeah.
never going to talk. Like, khalas, we're going to not talk ever.
Right.
No,
Yes.
not talk about this.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
So that's what he meant by that. Yep.
أو لا غدا
Mhm.
يريد غداء بعينه اختصت يمينه به. Or
Yes.
swearing he's not going to eat lunch, and he specifically means like one lunch,
Yes.
then he's swearing is specific to it, meaning he's not going to eat this lunch. He's not going to eat
Yes.
lunch ever in life. No.
Yes. Yeah, like somebody, they invite a person, come by and eat lunch with me. So I'm not going to eat lunch, right? So that doesn't mean that he's never going to eat lunch again the rest of his life, right? He's just at one specific time with that person. That's and keep in mind, this is at the Sheikh's time and the
Yeah.
place where he is and the culture that he's in. So a lot of these things are based on that. He was in approximately 700 years after the Hijrah, and he was in the city of Damascus in Syria, and he taught the students over there, and he followed. No, it's the same place as Ibn Taymiyyah. Ibn Taymiyyah was around.
But
there
this is
at the
very
same time.
interesting because this is very context specific. Like people at that time spoke that way.
Yes.
So he's
yes.
talking about those people and the way they spoke.
Right. Yes. So you have
But
a
the
lot
way
of things.
that we speak would be completely different.
Yes, and you have English too, which is a different language too.
Yeah.
So you have the same thing. So he mentioned these in the context that he's in and where he is over there.
But
anyway,
we can
it
draw
applies.
parallels. We can
Yeah,
draw parallels
yes,
to how we
yes.
speak.
Yes, the same examples that you can have over here as well. And the thing is, it boils down to what a person they intend by the oath, not necessarily the literal meaning. Because people that might say things, there's a lot of things that it can mean when they say. So that's the point. That's the point that he has. So he mentioned those things so far. Okay, let's go to the next
so
one.
وإن حلف لا يشرب له الماء ومن العطش عطش يريد قطع منته
Yes.
حنث بكل حنث بكل ما فيه منه. So
Yes.
what's happening in the words here? If he swears that he will not drink a drink with him because of thirst, meaning that he wants to cut off indulging with him, he has broken his oath with everything that is from him, like eating with him.
Yes.
So for example, he says, I'm not gonna drink with you.
Yes.
That means he's not gonna eat with you either.
Right. Yes, that's what that means. So if he eats with him, that means he broke that oath. Because his intention was not to
Specify drink.
not to what you call hang around with a person to
So
indulge in.
what's going on with the terminology here, Shaykh? وَإِنْ حَلَفَ لَا يَشْرَبُ لَهُ الْمَاء.
Yes.
What is he's not he swears he's not gonna drink له
Yes.
الماء من العطش. What is that?
Drink water with him because of thirst. If he says that, because
What
what
is
he does,
because of
the
thirst?
thing is, he's saying that the person, what he meant by it, that he's not going to, what you call, be alone with them and hang out with them. That's what he means by it.
But why does the atsh come? Where does the thirst come from? Like what is that? How
No,
is
that's,
that
I
related?
mean, when people they drink because they're thirsty, right? So they just
Okay.
put that as
يريد قطعا منته. What is منته?
hintahu wala
منته.
tahnath.
Huh?
Mintahu.
حنث.
Yeah, that one I had to look up. I think it memeans indulging with them. That's
Oh,
what it means, yeah.
منته. حنث بكل. What is حنث is like indulging?
Hanatha is tahnath is mentioned in the Quran.
Yeah. ولا
Talked about
تحنث. Oh, he
Ayyub
brings
alayhi
the-
salam when he made that's interesting.
ولا تحنث. Yeah, he
That
says.
don't break your
Don't
oath
break
that
your
you
word,
have.
yeah.
Yes. So
So
that-
حنث بكل ما فيه منه. So whatever
Yes.
he eats from it.
right.
whatever.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yeah. Over here it could mean also that he says, I'm not going to drink with you from thirst. But then if he drinks tea with him, and it's not because they're thirsty, then, he's saying that refers to the same. His intention was not to, not to join
Not
them
to hang
together
out with this person,
for
yeah.
consuming things.
Okay.
So that's what the Sheikh says. And then he broke his oath if he did that. He went there and
Okay,
ate the lunch
interesting.
with him, or if he drank something else.
Well, the person will say, well, technically, I didn't drink anything. I just ate food,
Right, yes.
right? So how is
Yes.
that?
Well, that's what goes down to what the person they meant when they said that.
So only they know what they meant, really.
Oh, I mean, in his society, that's what usually people they mean when they say that. No,
Okay, gotcha.
that I'm not going to drink with you. So he's mentioning things that are in his
As a
culture,
general principle. Okay.
right? The general thing that they say in their culture. No?
وإن حلف لا يلبس ثوبا من غزلها يريد قطع منتها فباعه وانتفع بثمنه حنث.
Yes.
So now if he swears he's not going to wear anything that she spins, and then after that he wants to cut off dealing with her, meaning he wants to cut off dealing with her, then he sells what he got and he benefits from the price, he breaks his oath.
Yes. Because the reason he said that he doesn't want to wear what she, spin back then. What they used to do is they used to take threads and they used to make cloth from it, and that's the spinning on it. That's the first step. Then they would sew the things together and so on.
Yeah.
So if he's saying that because he didn't want to interact with her, he says, I'm not going to wear what you spin. But then if he takes that cloth and sells it, he didn't literally wear it, but he interacted with her by acquiring what she had.
Oh, okay.
So that's why she breaks. So that's what the Sheikh says. And that's another
Oh my
example.
God.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
وإن حلف ليقضينه حقه غدا يريد ألا يتجاوزه فقضاه اليوم لم يحنث. If he
Yes.
swears to pay him his due tomorrow, intending not to transgress, and he pays it today, he has not broken his oath.
Right. Yes.
فوإن حلف ليقضينه حقه غدا يريد ألا يتجاوزه فقضاه اليوم. Oh, okay, so he's like, I'm gonna pay you like tomorrow for sure.
Yes,
And
I
he
swear
pays
I'm
him
going to pay you
even
tomorrow.
before.
So I swear I'm going to pay you tomorrow, but then he pays him today.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
that's not breaking his oath.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what the Sheikh says. That's just common. I mean, that's
Yeah.
today's terminology too, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so let's
وإن حلف لا يبيع ثوبه إلا ب100 فباعه بأكثر منها لم يحنث إذا أراد ألا ينقصه عن 100. If he swore that he would not sell his garment except for 100, and then he sold it for more than that, he would not have broken his oath if he intended that it would not be less than 100.
yes.
Yeah, if he says at least 100, that's it. I'm sorry, I'm not going to sell you for less than 100.
Well, he says, I swear I'm not going to sell it except for 100. And then, but he swears that like to himself in the store. I vow not to sell this for except for 100. And what he meant by that, he's not going to sell it for less than 100, at least 100. And he sells it for like 110, 120.
Why are these people swearing so much? God Almighty! Like they swear by everything.
Yeah, that's what Prophet Muhammad said. He said not to swear about things, just do it. It just makes a miserly person. It just makes a miserly. What do you call it? It makes a miserly person
more charitable.
More charitable. That's what Rasul.
Well, why are they like? I don't understand. Like, I don't think I ever really swore anything. Right? It's very strange that people would swear so much.
People, they make vows to do things. Sometimes they say that, and then you have the case in the court system too, where people they make.
Technically, that's the case. Like you take the Pledge of Allegiance or the oath that you give, or whatever.
You take an oath that you did something.
Like you say.
Allah mentions that in the Quran. Yufuna bin nadri. That when people they go for the Hajj, sometimes they make a vow to go for the Hajj. They fulfill their oath. But what Prophet Muhammad said, there's no need to make an oath for it. It doesn't make anything better. It doesn't make anything different. Just do it. And the reason for this is like, let's say a person, they're sick, and they say, oh, I vow if I get better, then I'm going to give $1,000 in sadaqah, right? So that doesn't change whether you're going to get better or not.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Person that might think, oh, now I vow to give 1,000, so Allah's going to make me get better.
No.
That's not the case at all.
Yeah, because He doesn't need anything from you.
He didn't make the dua that Allah make you better. He just said that if I get better, I'm going to give $1,000. So that doesn't change the situation at all. So
well, you should have done is made dua instead.
Right. Yeah, make the
and
dua.
Allah will answer.
Allah will answer the dua.
Yeah, but the dua is free. You have to pay nothing.
Dua is free. Okay. Yes.
Right. I mean, he made the oath. He didn't benefit.
Yes.
And now he has to pay.
Right.
But he could have made dua for free.
Yes.
And then he would have benefited.
Right, yes.
So it's very weird.
That's another issue too. So the thing is, if somebody wants to do a good deed, they should just do it, not have to make an oath and vow in order to do it, in order to do something.
So
good.
we have, but the thing is, we have like entire sections about how like we have to learn like all the different oaths and make judgments on it. And so just stop making them. What's the problem? What are y'all doing, right?
Yes.
I don't really.
Yeah, it's mentioned in a few places in the Quran also. No?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Sometimes people
I think it's
say,
a cultural thing, maybe.
a lot of times people, they talk a lot, but then when they're serious about it, they say, wallahi, right? They say, wallahi, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that they're going to do something. But if they don't say that, then it's like, it's not very serious.
Random.
So that's what we find very common. Sometimes a person, they would say, oh, okay, I'm going to meet you tomorrow. And sometimes maybe they're going to meet you, or they're not going to meet you. Who knows? They say, Inshallah, I'm going to meet you tomorrow. Then you don't know if they're going to meet you or not. But if a person says, Wallahi, I'm going to meet you tomorrow, then he'll meet you tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's people they say. So you have that also. Wallahi is the oath too. That's amen also they call it. But swearing and so.
So what happens if I say, Wallahi, I'm going to come to class tomorrow,
yes.
and I don't come? What now? I have to pay?
Yes. You broke your oath.
I should probably not say that.
But the thing is, you got to look at the interpretation for it. If you say I'm going to come tomorrow, if you meant by that you're going to come in the future, then you come next week. Then then you didn't break your oath. So that's the point that he had with some of the terminology that you have. Depends on what the intention is from the person.
Okay.
And then when you're saying that to somebody else, it means what they thought that you meant by it. That's what you have, like in the court, when somebody asks you about it, it boils down to that what they thought by it. And there's also different wordings that people they say, so it means particular things. It's not the literal meaning of the word, but it means like what a person they mean by it. So he talks about several examples over here. Okay, so let's go to the next one.
وإن حلف ليتزوجهن على امرأته يريد غيظها لم يبرأ إلا بتزوج يغيظها به. If he swears to marry, trying to anger his wife, it is not valid except he marries angering his wife with it. Meaning he's gonna break his oath until she becomes angry.
Yes, he says that to his wife because he's fighting with his wife or angry with her, So he says that I'm going to marry somebody else to make her angry.
Yeah.
And then let's say he does marry somebody else, but
Yeah.
it's not because to anger his wife and she doesn't become angry about it, then he didn't break his oath then. That's the point there. I guess that's what they used to do back then.
So
back
he
then,
has to make her angry then.
because that was his intention behind it, to make his wife angry. That he's going to marry somebody else to anger her.
So, I mean, is this dependent on her reaction, or is it just dependent on his intention to anger her?
It's his intention to anger her. That's why he said that.
But what if later he's like, you know what, I don't want to anger her, I just want to marry just cause.
Yes. So
Even then he has to break his oath.
Then he didn't break his oath then, because
He did break his oath.
his intention was to make her angry. That was his intention.
Yeah, so if he made her angry, he's good.
Then he had, then
Then he's good, because he
then-
did what he said.
right, then he didn't break
But
his
if
oath.
he didn't want to make her angry and he got married anyway, he didn't fulfill the oath.
Right, yes.
And he should have made her angry.
Yes.
It's a very
yes.
weird thing to
Yes,
have an
that's
oath
what
on.
happens. Well, maybe, back then, people, they treat their wives differently. And back then, it was like, they didn't have as much respect for women as they do
Yeah.
nowadays,
So
What happens,
he's saying, Khalas, I'm gonna get married just to make you upset. And
Right, to marry
he has
another
to
woman,
upset her then.
just so that she'll be upset, and he swears, I'm gonna marry somebody else, because he wanted her to be upset. And then, what happens later on, he just does it not to make her upset, and she's
Just in
not
general.
upset anyway, then he didn't break his oath.
So then he has
what
to get a
says.
third wife just to make her upset.
Then he would have kept his oath. He says
Yeah.
that some of these things doesn't mean it's good to do it.
Yeah.
It just mentions the person they swear to do
It's
it.
about whether the oath is fulfilled or not, yeah.
Right, yeah, whether you have to, where you have to expiate for it or not.
That makes
If it happens, that's the point for it.
So,
Okay, number
Okay.
9. Oh, especially this
وإن-
one here.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
وإن حلف يضربنها
Mhm.
يريد تأليمها
Mhm.
لم يبرأ إلا بضرب يؤلمها.
Yes.
If he swears to hit her wishing to harm her,
Mhm.
it is not valid except that he hurts her, harming her. If
Yes.
one vows to do something disobeying Allah, he should not do it.
Right, I put that down as a comment on it.
Yeah.
Because, these things, it doesn't mean that a person they should do that, but he's
Yeah.
saying that if he vows that and his intention was really to harm her, yet it's so evil and so bad that he wants to harm her, and he made that oath to vow her. But then if he just touched her, for example, and it didn't, he hit her, but he didn't do the harm for it, the oath wasn't fulfilled.
Yeah,
because
so
didn't-
he
didn't
failed
have
to
the
fulfill
intention.
his oath,
Right,
technically.
yes,
So
that's
then
what
he
it
has
says.
to pray the kafara
Right,
over it,
yes,
yeah.
yes, for that, that's what he should do.
Shouldn't have
He
made
shouldn't-
that,
He
shouldn't have made
shouldn't
that
hit, shouldn't, and the thing is, it's mentioned in the Quran, وَضْرِبُوهُنَّ, and the way I explained that, it's not allowed to hit your wife. What it means by ضَرَبَ, like Allah says, ضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا, in places, Allah gives an example of a parable of something. So that's what, interpretation of it in the Quran is like a parable, The way-
Potentially, Sheikh, but
That's how I explain it to people.
but another ayah like فَخُذْ بِيَدِكَ ضِغْثًا فَاضْرِبْ بِهِ وَلَا تَحْنَثْ. What is
Yeah.
this? This is a parable?
Yeah, that's coming up in one of the other ones.
No,
We'll
I
explain
know,
that
but
after.
if we were to take darb here to be understood as this, then how would we explain it to وَخُذْ بِيَدِكَ ضِغْثًا
No, because the thing is,
فَاضْرِبْ
the
بِهِ.
ulama, they say it's not allowed to hit your wife, not more than like a miswak. And that doesn't do anything, if you touch somebody, a person can hardly feel it.
Yeah,
So it doesn't mean, where you harm your wife or you do
Of
something like
course, of course.
that causes her a bruise or causes her to
Yeah.
break anything.
no,
That's
all
not
of
what
this
the Prophet said.
definitely, there's no
That's what
room
the
for
Prophet
abuse
But
actually.
I'm saying in the Quran, there's many places. ضرب الله مثلا مثل الذي ضرب. That's use the same word.
Yeah.
So that's how I explain what that means.
This is
in the
like
Quran.
striking a parable, yeah,
Right,
striking
yes.
example.
Your
I
wife is
understand.
like a parable. You can
But
say.
this is not how, the thing is, this is not usually how ضرب, like for example, ضرب زيد أحمد, he didn't give him a parable. He gave him a
but in the
beating.
Quran it says that like ضرب الله.
Yeah. But that's not how speech is though. This is a
إن
very,
الله يضرب مثلا فاستعملوا
yeah.
الذي يضرب من دون الله لا. That's Allah says that Allah gives you.
No, I
So that's the
understand
word for
that a مثل can be يعني ليضرب مثلا, right? ما
Yes,
بعوضة.
yes.
I understand like a parable can be given as a striking of a darb.
Yes.
But this is not the normal meaning of darb. Like for example, when Yaqub alayhi salam, I saw, is it,
Yeah, the thing is, the
Ayyub
Quran,
alayhi
the
salam.
Quran has a lot of different meanings, interpretations for
yeah,
it. So what I'm saying, this is the interpretation for that. It doesn't mean to physically harm and hit your wife and
Yeah.
hurt her and be bad to her. That's not what it means.
But
It
what
means
does
like the
Ayyub
other
alayhi salam-
interpretation.
So the thing is, why does Ayyub alayhi salam, he's actually hitting her though, right? Like when Allah he says, فَخُذْ بِيَدِكَ ضِغْثًا فَاضْرِبْ بِهِ وَلَا
Yes,
تَحْنَثْ.
yes. So I mean, they use the same word, but yeah, it could mean that too over there too. You got to look at the deeper meanings of things,
Yeah, no, I understand. It's just, I don't think that this is a very normative, like, it's not a zahir reading of the text. Like, the zahir reading would be to be.
Well, the thing is, you have to look at all the texts that refer to that, and if you look at all the texts,
Yeah.
Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that you have to be good to your wife,
Yes.
be nice to your wife, not.
And I think
not be
a
bad
hadith
for
of
it.
the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam where that Aisha radiallahu anha, I think she said that he sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not beat anyone.
Right. So so that's what I'm saying. If you look at all the
Yeah.
hadiths and things like that,
Yeah.
then that's what this ayah would mean, the correct interpretation that it means, to make a parable, not literally. That's what that means.
Interesting. I think there's if it were to mean parable only, then why do the scholars, they give all these limitations, like you can't raise your hand, you have to use something like miswak, you can't harm her, you can't break her, blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's what the other texts they say.
Yeah.
So literally, the thing is, when you have the ayahs in the Quran, there's several different meanings that you can interpret it from. So this is the interpretation of the ayah. That's what Allah says.
Yeah. I mean, some people even interpret it to mean like to travel or something like that. Yeah. So see,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like
The Darabtum fil ardi, yeah, that's another meaning. So there's a lot of meanings to a word that you have,
Yeah.
There's
So
more
like
than one
sometimes
meaning for it.
people even interpret it to be like فَضْرِبُوهُنَّ, like just go away, like walk away, right? وَهْجُرُوهُنَّ فِي الْمَضَاجِعِ وَاضْرِبُوهُنَّ.
Yes.
Like it could be understood technically,
Yes.
but like the language may allow for it that you escalate, you give فَعِذُوهُنَّ وَهْجُرُوهُنَّ, so you give her warnings, then you let her go in the bed, right? You're still sleeping in the same house, but now you're not sleeping in the same bed, let's say. But then وَاضْرِبُوهُنَّ is like just leave the house completely, kind of separation.
I mean, there's a lot of meanings you could look at, but I'm saying if you look at the other texts that say, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says you got to be good to other people, you got to be good to your wife. He didn't say that you beat your wife, harm her with things.
Yeah.
So the interpretation for this is, like I said, you do the example, the mathala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses that in other places in the Quran, other places, daraba. He uses that as a parable, as an example. So that's what it means over here in this verse.
Yeah.
Okay, so he
That's
talks about that later on. One of the things
Yeah.
about that, about
Here we go.
let's go to the
but
next one.
but here, definitely in his speech, in the speech of Ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi rahimahullah, وَإِنْ حَلَفَ لِيَضْرِبْنَهَا. This is beating for sure. He's not giving some kind of
that's what he
examples
says
here.
that. Yes. Okay.
Because يريد تأليمها لمها لم يبرأ إلا بضرب يؤلمها. So
Yes.
he has to give her pain in that sense
Yeah,
in order to fulfill the vow, but he
Right.
should not fulfill the vow.
He shouldn't fulfill, because Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that if you vow to do something
Haram.
bad, then don't do it. So
Yeah.
he said, inshallah.
So وإن حلف ليضربنها 10 أسواطا فجمعها فضربها ضربة واحدة لم يبرأ. If
Okay.
one vowed to whip her with 10 whips, then joins them as one strike, it doesn't count.
Yes. Okay, and this is what happens is, was looking at the interpretation of this, because they have this book, the Umda, which is a summary of the things in the Hanbali school. Then they have other shuyukh and ulama that they explain it in detail. So he's saying that this is different than what's mentioned in the Quran about Ayyub alayhi
Why?
salam. Okay, let me explain what
Yeah.
it says over there. And he said that what's mentioned about Ayyub in the Quran, and he says this is in the Hanbali school. They have that interpretation. This is what it says about Ayyub alayhi salam. He said that he was going to strike his wife with 100 lashes or 100 whips. And then what happened, Allah said to take like 100 stalks of wheat and hit her one time, and that would count as, that was the oath that he made. I'm going to strike my wife 100 times, 100 lashes. So you take 100 stalks of wheat and hit her one time, and that's sufficient to fulfill your oath. So that's what's mentioned in the Quran. you remember the ayah in the
Yeah,
Quran?
I know that.
The ayah there? فَضَرِبُهُنَّ وَلَا
فَخُذْ
تَحْنَثْ.
بِيَدِكَ ضِغْثًا فَاضْرِبْ بِهِ وَلَا
Yes,
تَحْنَثْ.
zigzag, right, yes,
Take a
exactly.
whole handful, yeah, and then فَضْرِبْ and hit her.
Yes, with
وَلَا
a one
تَحْنَثْ,
time,
don't
وَلَا
break the oath.
don't break the oath. So in this case here, he didn't harm her at all. He just
Yeah.
took
No, I got
the
you.
things
So
from the
why aren't
weeds.
they letting you do that here?
Yeah, that's what it said. That's the Hanbali school. They say that this was an exception. It was only allowed for Ayyub alayhi salam in this particular case. So in this one, that you have to actually do it, then you didn't break your oath. You can't do the same thing as Ayyub. You can't take like 10. If you say that, whip somebody 10 times, you made an oath to do it, vow to do it, then you should break that vow, not do it. But if you want to fulfill it, then you have to do it 10 times. You can't take 10 whips and hit the person one time. That doesn't count. That's the point that he has.
It's only for Ayyub alayhi salam.
Well, that's what they say, the interpretation.
That's
And,
weird.
and they say maybe this is specific to the Hanbali school. Maybe that's what they say.
Okay.
Allah knows best. So anyway, these things here, that's how they explain it there. It boils down to what the person they intend to do.
وإن عدمت النية رجع إلى سبب اليمين وما هيجها فيقوم مقام نيته لدلالته عليها. If there is not an intention on the oath, it goes back to the purpose of the oath was for and what agitated it, and that stands in the place of the niyya and intention.
Yes.
So it's and the ruling of it. So if in عدمت النية رجع إلى سبب اليوم, so there's no intention, then it goes back to the cause of the oath. وما يجيها هيجا.
Yes.
What is that? Hayaja, what is that?
That means what agitated it, what made the person say it.
Hayaja is agitation.
Yes.
فيقوم مقام نيته لدلالته. Okay, that's fine.
Yes. Okay, so you understand what that is? Like maybe a person that might forgot why they said something. What's the reason that you said this? So I don't remember, I just said the oath. Then it goes back, like you look at the situation and see what brought that about.
Context clues.
The context on it, like maybe somebody did something to the person, so he vowed to do it, and it was based on that, on the thing not to interact with them or something else like that.
فإن عدم ذلك حملت يمينه على ظاهر لفظه.
Yes.
Oh man, and if he doesn't even have that, the context.
Yes, so you
just
look
have
at
to
the
go with
literal
whatever it
meaning,
means.
the literal meaning of the wording that he said.
Yeah, like for example, right? Someone says, "Here, drink some coffee," right? And then the person, "I swear I'm never going to drink coffee." Right?
Yes.
Okay, so now he means I'm not going to drink that one, right?
Right. Yes.
But then he forgot why he said that, and now he has to think back that these people were trying to force him.
Right.
That's why he said it. So you can put some context and be like, "Well, he meant that one, right?"
Right.
But then he didn't even remember that there was a forcing going on, and all he has is, "I'm never going to drink coffee."
Right.
And all of a sudden, he can never drink coffee, or
Yes.
he breaks his oath.
Yes, so these things, it applies like in the court, when people they go to court. The judge has to look at the situation.
So what?
Make
The
the
person breaks
determination.
the person breaks his oath and he goes to court.
No, well, sometimes you have these issues that come up in the court, in the judgment. The judge has to give a judgment on some maybe loans or something like that, or payments, or somebody's going to give somebody things like that. He's going to look at it if the person was, if that was really an oath, a serious oath on it, or if it's not something that can be taken into seriousness. Because in the judicial system, the person taking an oath is given as much weight as somebody bringing proof of something. So that's what it's done. So that's where these things are applicable. If you find if that's the case, inshallah. If somebody said, they did an oath to do something, then the judge got to look at it. What did he mean by this statement of this oath? What was his intention behind it? And that's what counts for it. And then maybe a person, they forgot, they say, I don't remember the intention behind it, or I don't have intention. Then you got to look at the situation behind it. What caused the person to say this? If there's something that agitated the person to say it, or then he goes by that. And then if that's not there, then you look at the literal wording of the thing that the person has said.
Okay.
That's the context. That's where that would be applied.
فإن كان له عرف شرعا كالصلاة والزكاة حملت يمينه عليه. So if he says something like, I'm gonna, like that's known in Islam, like I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna give in charity,
Yes.
then the meaning is carried, the oath is carried on that meaning. Like for example, if he says salah, this doesn't mean like some kind of connection. It means like
Right.
the salah.
Right.
And if he's giving zakah, it doesn't mean like I'm gonna clean myself really
Right.
well.
Yes.
It means like I'm gonna give
Right,
in
yes.
charity.
Yes,
The
so that's what it
required-
means.
yeah.
The things that are norm in Islamic terminology.
Yeah.
The zakat, it literally means that a person purifies themselves. But if he says, I'm going to give zakat or I'm going to pay zakat this time, so it means for that. Sawm also, sawm means from refraining from something, even refraining from talking.
Yeah.
But if they say that in things referring to the Islamic rulings, it refers to fasting. That's the case now. Okay, inshallah. Let's keep
ولو
on.
حلف لا يبيع فباع بيعا فسادا فاسدا لم يحنث. So if he says, he swears I'm not going to sell, and then he makes a false sale, like a sale that's invalid, and he does not break his oath. Like for example, he tried to sell something he didn't even own. How could he sell it? It didn't even count.
No, I'm saying like if he said that he's going to sell something, then he did a sale that was invalid,
Yeah.
void.
Like for
Didn't count.
example, I come and tell you, Sheikh, I'm going to sell you, I swear I'll sell you the Taj Mahal. And I don't own the Taj Mahal, I'm going to sell it to you. Then I sell it to you. Hello, I didn't break the oath. Right?
Mm. Okay, so if you said he's not going to sell something, like for
I'm
example,
not going to sell you.
I'm not going to sell like he has a bicycle. Said I'm not going to sell the bicycle to you. Then he sells a bicycle, but the bicycle turns out to be broken, and the sale is voided. So then,
that's interesting.
that's the point of it. If something happens where the sale is invalid, so that's the point there now. Because you have the different rules of the business where you have particular sales that are invalid and don't count. So that's what he's referring to. over here, I
إلا
believe.
أن يضيفه إلى ما لا يصح بيعه كالحر والخمر فتناول يمينه صورة البيع. Except if he hosted what is not correct to sell, like a free person or alcohol, then the oath would be a form of sale. What? فتناول يمينه صورة البيع. What
Yes.
was that?
Like let's say a person, they say that I'm not going to sell you anything. Then a person sells a person khamr, or sells a person pork.
Okay.
Now, this is invalid sale because it's not allowed to
Doesn't
sell
even count.
haram things.
Yeah.
But he's saying in this particular case, then it counts as you selling something to the person. He has
Oh,
to make
even
an
though
expiation.
you were not, yeah.
Right, even though it's an invalid sale, it's voided. He's going back to the previous point that if the sale is invalid, then it doesn't count as a sale for something. Then you didn't
Unless
break
it
your
was
oath.
something haram to sell.
And then if it's haram to sell, then it's invalid because it's haram to sell things. But in this case, you did break your oath because you actually sold
How
him
would you
something.
even sell a free person anyway? I mean, you're like kidnapping someone or something.
How would you sell?
Sell a free person. You'd have to
Yes,
kidnap
that's the
them.
point. What they do is they kidnap somebody or they trick somebody, and then
Yeah.
they sell him. Turns out he wasn't a slave, so then the sale is invalid. And then he said, I swear I'm not going to sell you something. And he's saying the previous, it's like two steps. The first step is because it's invalid, then you didn't break your oath because you said you're going to sell him something because it's invalid, then you didn't break it. But then one step after, if you sold pork, for example, that's invalid, but it still counts as, so it's like negative, double
I think it's
negative.
something interesting, Sheikh, that when there's a famous story of Salman al-Farisi,
Yes,
radiallahu anh, who
Yes.
he had to give, I think, 100 trees
right, yes.
and like a
yeah.
block of gold, right?
Yes.
To earn his freedom from his slave master.
Right, yes.
But he was an illegal slave.
Right, yes.
He wasn't supposed to be a slave. Like
Yes.
he was a free man. So how does that work? That he paid for his freedom, or the Prophet ﷺ paid for his freedom, but
Yeah.
technically he was not actually a slave at all.
Yeah, what happens is they have, the way that he did it, they have something what's called a kitab slave. Kitab slave, and what that is what the slave does, he does something to earn his freedom by paying it back to the master. And usually what the person they do, that's a slave, he collects the sadaqah, the charity from everybody, and he collects it until he collected enough to pay for his freedom.
Yeah.
And that's what they call khatib on the slave, that's khatib.
No, I understand, but he's not even a slave. Salman al-Farisi radiallahu anh is not a legal slave. He's an illegal slave. He's a free man, actually.
Well, all the slaves at that time were illegals. What are you going to do with them? Still have it at that time.
I
Wouldn't
mean,
you say
that's the
so?
thing is, they were all illegal, right? Like
Yes.
technically, Salman radiallahu anhu was an illegal slave. He was a free
Yes,
man
yes.
who's imprisoned against his will and made into a slave.
Right, yes.
I mean, if we had applied the Sharia, we would say this man is free. There's no, you don't pay anything, right? But I
Yes.
think that in the beginning, perhaps there was maybe a statute of limitations where everything like before this is you're just a slave. Too bad. Is that kind of how it worked?
Some of the slaves, they run away because they feel like they did that, and,
Yeah.
you know, then you have that, a lot of slaves, that's what they do. In America, that's what happened, you know?
Yeah.
You had,
Yeah, because the slaves over here were illegal slaves. Like they're just free
right,
people
yes.
in
Yeah,
Africa
they
or whatever.
just ran away, you know?
No, but like technically they were free people in Africa that they just got
Yes.
kidnapped,
Right, yes.
right?
Well, the thing is racism over here in America. All the people that were colored, they were considered to be slaves in the South. In the North, they said, no, they're free. So then they ran away from the South to the North.
Yeah. No, but that's not what I'm saying, Sheikh. I'm talking about the people that actually came here, right? Like they were brought here from Africa on the ships, right?
Yeah, that was in the beginning, but afterwards it was all racism. Everybody that was colored was a slave.
No, I understand.
Even if they came here
But what I'm saying
legitimately.
is, if we had implemented the Sharia,
Yes.
you would not be able to just go randomly kidnap people anyway. So they're free
Yes.
the whole time, actually,
Yes.
right? From the
Yes.
Sharia perspective.
Right.
And
yes.
then after that, so what happens, Sheikh? Let me ask you this. What happens if, in the Sharia, some bad people...
Yes. The thing is, the Sharia wasn't there yet at that time. It was, you know, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was in that society, but they didn't have he wasn't in charge of the things in the society.
I
So
know,
people
I know.
didn't listen to him. So that's why he had to go
Well,
by
the Sharia wasn't
there.
like in the world. It was in the Arabian Peninsula and
Yeah, they didn't go by that, so it wasn't there at that point yet. But later on, when Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you know, he conquered the city of Mecca, then they would implement that. In,
yeah.
the
No,
city.
I understand.
So this
What
was
I'm saying
before
is,
that.
when the transatlantic slave trade happened, the Islamic Sharia did exist, like in the Ottoman Empire and so on, right?
Yes,
So-
but
so-
at this point in time, when Salman Farsi wanted his freedom,
Yeah.
he was in Medina, and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't have authority.
I know.
with
That's
everything,
not what
so
I'm asking
that's why they
about.
were going by the other rules that they
I'm
had.
asking you about something completely different. Let's say that the Muslims have rule. You're in a
Mhm.
Khalifa. You're in a
Yes.
Khilafah, let's say. Like, let's say you're at the time of, I don't know, like Umar radiallahu anhu.
Right,
Muslims
yes,
are already there.
yes,
Then some people, they find some people, and they just kidnap them,
right, yes,
and they make them slaves. Those are illegal slaves. They're not allowed, they're not really slaves, they're free. Okay?
yes,
So they enslave a man and a woman, and they kidnap them, and they make them slaves.
right, yes,
They're free, right?
yes.
What happens if now the two, they're husband and wife, and they have a son?
Mhm.
Is the son a slave?
Okay, let's go back to the first point.
Yeah.
The first point, if they have proof of it, then definitely they should get their freedom if that's
Yeah.
the case.
Yeah.
But sometimes people, they might say other things, you know, to lie and things like that. So
Yeah.
then you really have to, the judge really has to look at that
No,
situation.
that's fine.
look at it.
My
That's
question
the
is
first
not,
point. The second point is that what happens in Islamic rule, if both parents are slaves, both parents of the child is a slave, then the child is considered to
Is a
be a
slave.
slave. That's the rule that they
but
have.
both
in-
parents are free. They're
Yes,
practically slaves, but technically
yes.
they're free.
Yes.
So is the children free too?
Yeah, if they're free, then the child is free also. Or even one of the parents, if they're free, the child is free also.
So what I'm trying to ask is, if for example, in the transatlantic slave trade, American slavery,
Yes, yes,
Sharia took over, okay?
yeah. Well,
What would
then
the judges-
they
what would
would all
the-
be free then. They wouldn't be slaves because they're not. It's
Because
not
none of them
lawful to
are
kidnap people.
legal slaves. They're all
Right, yes.
illegal slaves.
Yes, if you had the Islamic law, then
Yeah.
they'd be
So if the Islamic
automatically
law
free.
took over, then they would be like, all of y'all go free.
All free, yes.
Yeah.
And eventually, that's what happened here in America. Eventually, they got rid of the slavery
Yeah.
after Abraham Lincoln
Mm.
over in America. That's what happened.
So Abraham Lincoln kind of implemented the Sharia there, technically.
Yeah, yeah. I
Because
guess
that's,
so, if you could
that's
say
what the
that.
Sharia would say.
No, because it was in the beginning. It was just kidnapping people in Africa, bring them over here.
Yeah.
But then it was several generations afterwards, and what they did then, it was just everybody of color was a slave.
No, but what I'm saying, Sheikh, is if the original people were illegal slaves,
Yes,
then their children are also free.
right.
And
yes,
their children are also free. They're all free,
Yes,
right? It's just, they're just illegally held as
Right,
slaves.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay.
So you have to bear in mind that in Islam, you find that if you look at the books of fiqh, they don't mention taking slaves, they mention freeing slaves, you know. Always like the chapter of slavery, say Kitab al-Itq, chapter of freeing, so that's what Islam enjoins freeing
Yeah.
slaves, not taking slaves,
Yeah, because technically, like, it's like from the Sharia perspective, it's all haram. Like, you can't just go randomly kidnap people, right?
Right, yes.
Yeah.
And the other way that they used to do it is in debt, people, they used to owe
Even
money.
that's haram.
And on interest, and they owed so much money,
Yeah.
they would take their children to pay off their debt as slaves to cover their debt.
But this is haram, right?
To take somebody's children,
As slaves from the debt that their parents owe.
yeah, that's
I mean, this is not an allowed form of
it's
slavery.
not mentioned anywhere in Islamic as a person they do that. This was before Islam, people
Yeah.
used to do that,
Yeah.
the time of, the other people. It's haram to take interest, that's the thing, so
Yes,
they did that. Right in the beginning, that's not allowed to do that.
Okay.
And the other thing is, somebody's children is not property, it's not
Yeah,
value.
how can you?
So you can't buy somebody's children, so that's not the case. Okay, so let's go to the next one here.
Okay, so okay, وإن لم يكن له عرف شرعا okay وكان له عرف في العادة كالرواية والضعينة حملت يمينه عليه.
Yes,
So
this is talking about the terminology that a person they say when they swear by something. So sometimes you have terms for it, but in the trade and in the business, it means particular things, not the literal meaning of the word. So he mentioned two things here that was there at his time.
yeah, like for example, rawaya, which literally means a carrier of water, or a camel custom means a water skin. Okay.
Yes, so that's what they refer to about that,
Yeah.
water skin.
That makes sense.
In today's age too, also you have things that, if you look at the literal meaning, it's different than the object that it refers to. Like when people, they do trade and business and things like that,
Yeah.
Let me see if there's an example, if I can think of an example.
Like for example, if someone says, Sheikh, I'll give you $10.
Oh, yeah, there you go, that's a good example.
$10, that is what is meant.
Right, yes.
But someone will be like, no, now I want 10 animal bucks.
Right,
Like
yes, yes.
like the deer kind.
Yes,
Right?
exactly, that's a good example, Yes.
All right.
Yep.
فلو حلف لا يركب دابة في مينته.
Yeah, so these ones here are straightforward, they don't like, it's not different than what the person they say, so it's just,
Okay.
you just give them more examples.
Yeah. فلو حلف لا يركب دابة في مينه على
Yamini means his swearing. So you swear on your right,
فيمينه
that's what
على الخيل والبغال والحمير. If he
Yes.
swears not to ride an animal, he's swearing on all the horses and the mules and the donkeys, everything.
Yeah, this one is not different, it's just
What about a camel?
straightforward. I'm not gonna ride on an animal, then if he rides on a horse, he broke it.
What about a camel?
Camel too also, no.
Oh, he doesn't say camel, but yeah.
This
camel.
one here is just saying that as an example, because these three are mentioned in the Quran together,
Okay.
horses and mules and donkeys. And you have a horse and a mule, and when they mate together, your horse and a donkey, when they mate together, you have a mule. So that's mentioned, وَالْخَيْلِ وَالْحِمَارِ وَالْبِغَالِ لِيَرْكَبُوا فِيهَا وَزِينَةً. It's mentioned in the Quran, so that's what he's using as an
وإن
example.
حلف لا يأكل على شواء حنث بأكل اللحم دون غيره. If he says I'm not gonna eat steak, and then he eats some other meat, he still breaks it.
Yes,
So what is the steak?
Steak is anything, I mean,
Wow.
this is not anything different, it's the same thing. I'm not gonna eat things that is fried or steaked. Then if he eats other meat besides what's normally eaten as steak, besides beef, then he breaks
What
it.
is shawa? Shawa is the steak?
Yes,
what is
yashwi means to grill it,
Oh, it's like a roasted thing.
grilled,
Oh,
yes. He said, I'm not gonna eat grilled, then if he eats grilled.
Oh, it's
grilled
like he's not
meat-
gonna eat any grill items.
Right.
He's talking about meat.
Yes.
But
So
what
it's
about
not-
like paneer?
Like which
Grilled
one?
paneer.
Paneer?
You know paneer?
Okay, I see.
I mean, technically
Yeah.
he could eat that, even
Yeah,
though it's grilled.
these ones here are not different than what he says, he's just elaborating on it.
I gotcha.
The other ones is like it's like different than the literal meaning. This one here is just
Okay.
exactly what it is.
So وإن حلف لا يطأ امرأته حنث بجماعها
Yes.
جماعها.
Yes.
So if he swears he's not going to have sex with his wife, then he breaks it by joining with her. Yeah.
Yes, they're just two different words that they use, wata'a and jama.
Yeah.
They mean the same
Same
thing, having
thing,
sex.
yeah.
So this is not anything different, just the wording over here.
Yeah.
All these are just straightforward, there's not like a change in the meaning of them.
وإن حلف لا يطأ دار حنث بدخولها كيف ما كان.
Yes.
So for example, if he says, I'm not going to enter this house, then it doesn't matter if he goes to the door, the back door, or
Right.
through a window, or through a hole in
Yeah.
the wall.
No, over here he's saying that he just went into the house, so he
Yeah,
broke it.
that's it. Doesn't
So
matter.
that's where I'm not going to enter a house. He entered the house, he broke his oath.
Khalas,
That's
any
what
way
it
you
means.
enter.
Yes, that's what he meant. So this is not different than, than what he swore. It's just elaborating on things, just saying examples, people making oaths,
Okay. وإن حلف لا يأكل لحما ولا رأسا ولا بيضا فيمينه على كل لحم ورأس كل حيوان كل حيوان وبيضه والأدم كل ما جرت عادة بأكل الخبز به من مائع وجامد كاللحم والبيض والجبن والزيتون. Okay, so if he swears not to eat meat, heads, or eggs, then his oath applies to all meats, heads, or eggs of every animal, not things that flow with it, like bread mixed with its curry, cheese, or olives.
Yes.
That's weird.
Yeah, so he says, I swear I'm not going to eat eggs, I swear I'm not going to eat meat, I'm not going to eat the head of an animal. So then if he has curry, if he has, for example, bread, and he mixes it with the curry, he's not eating meat, right?
Technically, he's eating his juices.
He's eating, so that doesn't break his oath.
Okay.
And the cheese, sometimes he mixed some enzymes of the animal in it, so he says, I'm not going to eat the meat, but he
What
eats
does
the
the
cheese.
olive have to do with it?
That's what the sheikh mentioned.
Why are you saying
olives is something completely different,
Okay. Oh, so like something completely different doesn't relate either.
Right, yeah. So he's just saying, he's not saying that there's any like trick in the wording over here. He's just giving examples of oaths that people they give.
Okay. وإن حلف لا يسكن دار تناول ما يسمى سكنا فإن كان سكنا بها فأقام حتى يصبح أو خاف على نفسه فأقام حتى أمن لم يحنث.
Yes.
If he swears not to habitate a house, it refers to what it means habit. If he stays in it one night until morning, or stay in it until he is not afraid, it did not break his oath.
Right, yes. So it's pretty straightforward, Not,
So he means to say he's not going to live in one place
right,
continuously.
that's what it means. Yeah. When you say
But
habitat,
if he's just a nomad now, he's just going to
so
become
he
a
just
nomad.
stays one night and then leaves in the morning, or he's like scared that there's robbers or something out there, so he goes in the house and stays there and then
Okay.
leaves after that goes. So that means that he didn't break his oath when he said that.
Why are people making so many oaths? So weird. Like, it's very weird that people make so many. Alhamdulillah, in America, people don't really swear that much. They don't really make that many oaths.
Maybe in some cultures, people they get in the habit of swearing, and sometimes the sentences they say wallahi a lot, on it, but they don't really mean it. So
Right. No, I getcha.
that's just a lot of people. I've met a lot of people that do they say wallahi so much, out of habit, but it doesn't count unless they really mean it. La yu'akhidullahu bi lagwi fi aymanikum. Allah doesn't hold you accountable for what is vain in your oaths.
Okay, so I think it's beneficial at the end of this video just to say, like, what is the kafara of the oaths?
Yeah, that's a whole lesson coming up later on.
Yeah.
Next lesson. Okay, you want to start? Okay, let's stop over here. We'll start the next lesson if you want.
Oh my God.
The kafara of oath, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so if I said anything from the ilm, taken anything from myself, just disregard it. Continue on the flow of the ilm from Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Jazakumullah khair.